Live. John,
Awesome.
thank you so much for having us this morning. So if you don't, if the people watching us right now, if you don't know who John is, gosh, you are engineer as trade, correct?
Yes, yeah, software engineer.
Software engineer, and
Yeah.
then you do a lot of. I saw one of your video on James Hoffman's video.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you do
that's
the
fun.
CAD design.
Yeah. So I got into that because Bruce is kind of like the grandfather of the Pavoni community in my mind. He's kind of the guy that hugs everybody and just shows love. And that's really what the community is as far as I've seen. Um, and he approached me at one point and said, I want to understand what's going inside the group heads.
Okay.
And I'm a pretend wannabe mechanical engineer. I am not, but I love to draw things in CAD. And so that's how we kind of got started. And so I modeled the group head so we could see what the differences are between the generations. And that was really helpful for the community, I think. And that's just kind of how I got started. And then instead of watching TV at nights, I started modeling as many generations of the machine as I could, just because, it's either that or watch TV, I guess. So
And then, so I mean, people are watching us right now. Most
yeah.
likely, you have Lapavoni, or maybe thinking about getting a Lapamoni down the road.
Oh, for
I mean,
myself personally?
no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the in general, people watching us. So,
Oh,
what was your first Lapamoni?
it was actually, I bought one direct from the factory probably about 4 years ago. It's a
Okay,
Gen 3.
Gen 3.
Yep. Yep. And that one found its way into my office at work. I travel a little bit for work. And so in that office, that's where that one resides. So whenever I'm on site at work, I use that as my 10 o'clock brew.
Okay,
Um,
what about at home?
At home, I have a Stradivari, and I also
Okay,
have, amazingly enough, a Starbucks labeled Gen 3 that I picked up in Chicago for $150. There's a
Starbucks.
Starbucks logo on the side, and I'm like, why is there a Starbucks logo? Apparently, they gave it away to their employees as a 5-year anniversary gift or something. And
Really? No kidding.
so, yeah, so
Okay,
that was probably my best find. Yeah.
so because I have a, as you can see, I have a Gen 2,
Yep. Yep.
and I realized this thing is kind of like odd, okay? Because I know most of my friends has a Gen 3.
Ah.
So I mean, so do you know the main difference between like Gen 1 to Gen 2?
Yeah.
Because
So, yeah. I think the best thing to do is to look at the group heads,
yeah,
and
that's
that's
what
really
first time. Yep.
the big difference. I could maybe share my screen at some point if you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Then we'll do that. We'll look at. Let's see if I can do this without.
Oh,
So
there we go. Yeah.
here's kind of a cross section of the
Yep.
generations, and so I can explain this real quick. This is the generation 1 group head. And you can see there's a sleeve on the inside. I don't know if you can see that, but there's this golden sleeve on the
Oh
inside.
wow.
And so this was a sleeved. The water enters here and goes through a hole. There are 3 holes actually.
Yep.
I think the pistons maybe not up high enough to see those. And then in generation 2, which is what you have, they
That's right.
abandon the sleeve. And when the piston is down, you can see that steam from the boiler comes through this pipe right here and heats up the group head. And then yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so because I mean, I have really hard time managing the heat management.
Yep. Yes. And so I think that's a common concern about generation 2 group heads, is that they get a little hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't say you should say it's a problem. It's a unique characteristic of it, and some people like the quick heat up. Some people feel like maybe it brews the coffee a little bit too hot, heats up too
Yeah.
quick. So there's all kinds of things people have done to solve that. One is, I think yesterday you received some cooling fins. That's one way to solve it, is to dissipate the heat. But if you look here in the CAD model,
Yes.
the steam from the boiler comes through this big hole here, and that is what heats up the group head. So steam can freely pass from the boiler into the group head, and that heats it up very quickly. And let's take a look at your machine, because that might be actually a better way of doing that. I'll bring that up on
Oh yeah,
CAD.
wow, that's great. Yeah,
So this is your machine, and you can see the
yeah,
boiler. It's actually almost your machine. It's a little. I think it's a 2.5. Yours is a 2.3, but close enough.
yeah.
You
That
can
is
see
my
that it's yeah, it's a professional. Yep.
yeah.
It's got the single switch on the bottom. Like that. Yours is red, but
Yep,
basically, yeah. Um, so this is what they call a professional. It's a larger boiler that you
that's
have,
right.
and you can see that the siphon tube is what brings hot water into the group head here for you. But you also have this hole that I was talking about up here, which is what heats up the top above the piston. If you see that, does that make sense?
Yep.
And so I think Tudor, which by the way, Tudor is he cares more about people than he cares about his business, I think. So he got together with Bong, who's this crazy mad research scientist in Italy. And I say that with love, not derogatory at all, but he is just always trying different things out. He came up with this idea, and so it's called the Bong isolator, and I think you got
Y-
that.
Yes, right
Um,
here. So this is the
yeah,
bang. Yeah, that's it right there. Yep.
right. So when you put that in your machine, um,
Yep.
what it does is it plugs up that steam hole, so steam can no longer get into your group head, because the only thing that can get into your group head is hot water through that siphon tube. So now your group head is no longer steam heated. Um, and so only water comes through here. Does that make sense to you, or am I
Yeah,
maybe explaining it too fast?
I think so. Goodness. Okay.
Okay, so this is with the Bong isolator. Let me take it away.
Yep.
This is what it looks like normally. You can see hot water comes through this little hole right
Yep.
here, and steam is heated up there. And then with the Bong isolator, you can see that now steam can no longer get into the group head, and this hole is just kind of passive at this point.
Okay. So
Um,
what's the theory behind that? So you're gonna get a what? Better the temperature control water going into your shot.
yeah, I think the point is that with too hot of water, I think you over extract the coffee, and I mean, you probably know more than this, because I'm not a super coffee guy, but I do know that if you use really hot water,
Oh yeah.
you get a lot of bitter flavors, right?
Correct. Yep.
And so maybe this is better for a darker roast with hotter, a hotter group head might work better with a darker roast.
Light.
Maybe not. Maybe I
The
got it
light.
backwards.
Yeah. You want a lighter roast with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but if you put the isolator in there, it's going to keep your group head a lot cooler,
Yep.
which is favorable for a cooler brew water, because there's no PID control in here like you have on all those high end,
Yes.
new
Yep.
machines. What I found is on the Generation 3 machines, especially, is if you just turn them on and leave them, they kind of find a nice, happy temperature. But Generation 2 seem to heat up a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah.
And
That's.
so,
By the way, so we look like we have a tutor is online as well.
oh, awesome.
Shout out to tutor and shout out to Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. They are nothing but love, those guys. So you can just reach out to Tutor anytime and ask him a question about anything, and he'll reply. He
And by
cares.
tutor, I'd love to have you on next time. Okay. Yeah. We can have some chat as well. So comes to Lapaboni community, it is pretty small, aren't they? I mean,
Well, I think there's a couple of groups where they're discussed. I mean, obviously, home barista.
yeah.
There's a good lever section there. I think Tudor really exposes his business. He's created a Facebook group. I think there's 2,500 people on there within the
Oh,
last year, where you can vent. You can say, Tudor, this is not right, and he's right there, and everybody's there to help each other. So
I
I
mean,
think that's
but
pretty
I mean,
nice.
but do you have any idea how many Lapaboni in wild? Is that what 10,000, 20,000 machines?
I don't know. Maybe Tudor or Bruce can chat, and
Okay.
and provide that. I really don't have any way of knowing.
Man, I have no idea.
Yeah, but there's
I
so many of them out there in terms of used units that you can find and whatnot. So
so these units I got from friend of
yeah,
mine, and
it's gorgeous.
he got from his grandfather,
All
and
right.
he supposedly purchased it in World War II, but I don't think that's not right. Okay.
Well, yeah, yeah. That one there. Let's see, the 2.3. I don't know if
Yeah.
you open it up, but it's supposed to be somewhere between 84 and 1984 and 1990 is when that gold
Yeah.
one was made, somewhere around there.
And okay, so for that,
Hmm.
and by the way, so I'm gonna have a Bruce on right after you, and
Awesome.
we're gonna talk about some parts. Tutor send us here, and my plan is, and after I talk to Bruce, I'm gonna make a step by step the installation guide. Okay,
Okay, that's neat. That's
and
neat. That'd be helpful.
yeah, because it's not hard to remove the group head, the piston,
Right.
and I
Yes.
have to use like wooden mallets to bang it out. And I was talking to my Gen
Uh-huh.
3 friends. They
Uh-huh.
say just push it down. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I think it depends on how long it's been in there. It might give you a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just use a right angle pick and pull the gasket out. Just stab the gasket and pull the gasket out. I think Bruce can probably show that to you too. And then you pull that gasket out, and then everything just falls out, and there's no banging or hitting or anything.
Oh, really?
But then you've got a hole in your gasket.
Yeah, you don't
Usually, it
want
doesn't.
that.
It,
No, you don't
it,
want
it,
that
it
either.
would be a problem. But I think
Yeah.
Tudor sent you a bunch of gaskets. They're not that expensive. So if all else fails, that's one way to do it.
So,
So
so Tudor in Romania, right?
he is. He is. Yes. He's done so much to help Ukraine and what's going on there. I mean, that's really been on his heart there. So that's a big shout out to him for that. So yeah, because he's I think a couple hour drive from the border there.
Man,
So
and this, so we got the so that's yeah, because I mean that's something I do want to talk about his business wise, because
yeah,
there's not a lot of like aftermarket Lapomoni parts, kind of like store sake.
right,
And because
right,
we know coffee sensors, and
right.
Stefano in US
Yep, yep, yep,
does that.
yep. Morgan.
Yeah, and then who else is out there?
Um, you know, those are the people. I think there's one in Italy that I've used occasionally. There's some places in the UK.
Yeah,
But just yeah, I've used Stefano's quite a bit as
yeah.
well. But no, I'm really not too worldly in terms of where I would take my Le Pavoni, to be repaired. I know in Seattle there's a little place that does a nice job repairing them there as well. My daughter-in-law has a Le Pavoni, and she took it there once for service, and they were awesome. So.
You don't service yourself, John, or
Oh, I do my own, yes.
okay,
She had an issue when she first received it, and it was under warranty. So she's like, I might as well just have it taken care of under warranty. So
okay. And the whole that's like a tutor say the Lapomoni sells thousands per year,
thousands per year.
thousands. That's it. And the few
Okay.
thousands, and the official channel, and the few thousands secondhand used market. Okay, for sure, worldwide.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a lot. Okay, in that perspective, because they got millions express machines out there. It's only
The problem is you make a product that lasts, and you kind of put yourself out of the replacement business, don't you?
yeah, oh, yeah, yep.
So I think that's kind of what they what they did.
I mean, because you know what, as you know, if you own a Lapabone, you're gonna have for lifetime. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
and
They're so easy to service and fix. Yeah.
I mean, there's no only a couple moving parts.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, but so do you descale the the heating elements much, or
I don't.
okay,
Occasionally I'll use the Durgal, which is a Swiss thing.
okay.
But really it's not I don't see descaling as a big issue. Um, but I think Bruce is the one that I looked to figure out what the right way to descale it was. But yeah, Durgal for a few minutes is all I do. Yeah.
Okay, so Bruce, no, John. So what is your next project for you? Are you working on more CAD design for Lapaboni, or are you pretty much
Yeah.
all done?
Yeah, so for example, I'll design parts that Tutor will put in his store. I
Okay,
don't profit from any of it. It's just
sure.
because I want to be an evening CAD
Yep,
guy, and pretend I'm an ME person, but I'm not. So yeah, there's always little stuff that we're working on, and I'm sure you may see more things pop up in Tutor store in the future.
sounds
Um,
good. And
so
so,
yeah.
so how people find you on your YouTube? Do you have your YouTube channel?
Uh, yeah. So what is your question? Like, where do the referrals come from?
No, no, no. What is your YouTube channel called? Just make sure.
Yeah, like I would really know. I'll put it in the link under the video or something. I'll send you a comment to it because
Okay, great. Yeah,
it's
leave
just
it in the comment section.
it's just my name, John Michael
Okay,
Hauck. So
okay,
if you
okay.
search that, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna find. I'm gonna put the link down below. Okay, so
Okay,
people can see it, and
sure.
then right after talk to you, I'm gonna have a Bruce on. Let's go over the parts I got from Tutor.
Right. Okay.
I got some few parts, so it's gonna be fun. All right, John.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Take care.
Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye bye. Okay, so that is John. So John does a lot of CAD design for Lapaboni. So I'm gonna put the link down below once I'm done with our video, and then I'm gonna have Bruce on in about a couple seconds. Okay, I'm gonna shut it down, and then I'm gonna have Bruce on in about less than 5 minutes. Okay, see you guys soon.